Disclaimer, 3D Mario games are some of the best games out there, so before you watch this list, just make sure that you know that I love, or at least like, all of these games. I'm not counting 3D Land and 3D World, because their levels are both, very linear, so this top 5 is going to consist of 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1 and 2, Odyssey, and Bowser's Fury, which is technically 6, not technically, it is 6, but it's better for thumbnails and titles, so, top 5. Anyways, with all that said and done, here's the list.
Number 6.
At number 6, I've decided to put Mario Sunshine, and I don't really know why, but I just don't like the feel of this game. The controls are just very awkward and clunky for me to use. I like the difficulty of this game's boss fights, but some of the shrines are just a pain to get. And it's not even good pain like a really hard level, it's just the blue coin levels are terrible, and certain levels like the paintball machine I really just don't like. I'm talking a lot of garbage about this game, but in reality, I just need a reason for why it's number 6. For some good things, I really like the innovation with Flood, and I just think that's really nice. I think spraying enemies with Flood is actually really fun, and hovering up in the air is just super satisfying. Also, Flood does hold the crown for the saddest Mario scene ever. Anyways, those are really my main thoughts of this game. Time to go on to
Number 5.
Mario 64. I can already hear all the angry people in the comments saying, "How is 64 not number 1? How dare you put all these other games above Mario 64? Mario 64 is by far the best game. You don't know what you're talking about. I grew up on Mario 64. And to that I say, just shut up. The only reason this isn't in last place is A, because of the blue coins and Sunshine, and B, I don't want any death threats. Take off your rose-tinted glasses and look in a non-nostalgic way. Graphics, bad. Levels, okay. Bosses, repetitive. And the camera, good lord, don't get me started. The only thing saving this game is how fun some of the stars are to collect, and also backwards long jumping. If that wasn't in the game, it'd easily be number 6. But anyways, that's 5, not 6, and going back to number 5, we're moving on to
Number 4.
And in number 4, that's Mario Galaxy 1. This game has got to be one of my favorite Mario games visually ever. I love the idea of planets, and traveling through a hub world is just super nice and convenient, so it makes all the galaxies set up in a really good way. But you want to know something that I hate even more than all of that I just mentioned about this game? Motion controls. You got that right. Motion controls are basically required to play this game. There's not much more to say. The game would be a lot better and definitely rank probably number 2 if it was able to be played optimally without motion controls. I think Nintendo kind of blew this one, and it's really sad to see. Even with having to play with motion controls, I still love this game, and speaking of which, some of the galaxies are amazing. Gameplay's super smooth again, yada yada yada. I think this game just hits right in the middle of all 3D Marios, and it's a really good baseline. So that's why we're moving on to the next one higher up.
Number 3.
Normally, in the case of movies, the sequels are always the laughingstock compared to the original. Well, that's not the case for this pair of games. Coming in at number 3 is Mario Galaxy 2. I've played it the least, and it still doesn't really fix the motion controls problem, but Anyways, as I was saying, I've played this game the least, and it still doesn't really fix the motion controls problem, but I still think it's just better than Mario Galaxy 1. Sure, they got rid of the hub world, but there's better graphics, and the levels are more enjoyable. And I think they really got their footing on the whole, rotating gravity, so this is just way more fluent than Galaxy 1. And of course, you can't forget the real reason why it's better than Galaxy 1. And that's because of Yoshi, aka the best Mario character ever created, now in its full glory in 3D. It's just so beautiful. And then there's another extra power-up called the Cloud Hat, which in my opinion is one of my personal favorites, so that's a good thing. And I just love the absolutely brutal final level, Perfect Run. Extremely hard platformers is personally my cup of tea, so this is right down my alley. One of my favorite levels in all of Mario, and a banger way to end the game.
Number 2.
Bowser's Fury. Holy crap, this game caught me off guard more than the coronavirus. It's just so good. Also, there's a lot of features in this game that are different from every other game, and I love that so much. For starters, the whole game is in just one big world that's always loaded. This makes fast travel basically instant. The option to store power-ups away in your inventory is just so nice, because if you see a cat shrine far away that you just need to jump a little bit farther to be able to reach to, you can just pull out one of your 3 Tanuki leaves that are just sitting in your inventory. This game is so good, and you really have to play this one because it's a whole different experience, but at the same time, there's still some things that are holding this back from being my favorite 3D Mario. I'm not really a fan of the repeating Bowser. Sometimes I just want to chill around and collect cat shrines, and then the Bowser shows up. And this game is also pretty small since it's just an extension to an already existing game, meaning it only has like 100 cat shrines and about 20 of them are just repeated, like the enemy battles and 5 shard cat shrines. So if these problems were fixed, I could definitely see this game creeping closer to number 1.
Number 1.
Mario Odyssey. This game is almost perfect. All the kingdoms are beautiful and perfect to play in. Boss fights in this game are just super epic, and the music slaps harder than... But I think this game innovates more than any other game with the introduction of Cappy. Cappy allows you to do all sorts of flips and tricks, but he also allows you to take control of over 70 different things. Like, that's absurd. These 70 things range from a cactus to a T-Rex to Bowser. Like, you get to play as Bowser in the final endgame gauntlet. That's just so awesome. I get that collecting 880 unique moons can get kind of repetitive and boring maybe to some people, so that's why if it does get boring to you, I recommend just spacing out the time that you play, so every time you come back, it'll feel more fresh. Each kingdom has a certain uniqueness that makes everyone feel special. My personal favorites being Lost, Cascade, and Metro Kingdom. And there's not one, but 2 endgame levels being Dark Side and Darker Side. One being a marathon of a level, and the other one being a massive boss rush, so you get diversity in the 2 final endgame. I've heard some people say that this game can get pretty repetitive to play, but you should tell that to the 10,000 people who speedrun this game every single day. This game was actually the first game ever that I ever learned to speedrun, and it was some of the most fun I've ever had at playing a Mario game. This game just absolutely brings everything I wanted, and I think that's the best 3D Mario game of all time. And that's the end. Make sure to comment your list down below in the comment section, and I'll tell you why you're all wrong. Anyways, see ya.